Professor Dr. Bobby Hurd. Right there you have it, the sounds of Marlene Knowles, and of course the song is A Wonderful Lover. Tell you, man, you can't find another lover like Jesus. And of course, listen, she's in the studio with me. That's right, she's in the studio with me, my very special guest today, as we have a conversation with the artist. And it's been a while, but I'm glad that we were able to get her here in the chair to talk about her musical experience, some of the things that she did, what she's doing, and what she's about to do. Good afternoon, Marlene.
Well, good afternoon, Derek, and good afternoon, Bahamas.
Amen. And welcome to 8:10 a.m. with Uncle Fee Baby Boy.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
So let's start off with who is Miss Knowles. Tell us who is Miss Knowles, and then we're gonna get to that song because I'm listening to that song and I'm like, okay, we gotta play that more. Here on the station, because the songs still sound nice and fresh. You know, you can't really date it, you know, so it sounds nice and fresh. So you're going to hear more of that after today. So tell us, who is Marlene?
Marlene Knowles. First of all, I am a citizen of the Kingdom of Heaven.
Great God.
How about that?
Amen.
Always my original introduction, but multi-leveled individual. I wear so many different entrepreneur, founder, and at church I still do ministry and singing, speaking, and yeah.
And always from Grand Bahama, born here,
born and
Roots
raised
from Abaco, though.
Well, my mom is Abaco.
Uh-huh.
My dad is Watakee.
Okay.
I am a healed by birth, right? But I'm born right here in Grand Bahama, raised right here in Grand Bahama, went and got my first degree right here at the College of the Bahamas in Grand Bahama.
The first one.
Listen. And so I'm Grand Bahamian. Right. I'm Grand Bahamian.
Give us your introduction to singing.
Oh, my introduction to singing. I've been singing from I was a little girl. And that is as early as I was able to hold a mic in my hand. Singing for me has just always been something that flowed. It isn't something that I went to school to learn. Or I wish I did sometimes, but it just all of it just naturally flowed. From me, and so I did a lot of singing with the choir, a lot of singing with the praise team at my church, Faith National Church of God. In Lewis Yard, Grand Bahama, under the leadership of Senior Pastor Linwood Knowles and his beautiful wife,
yes, sir,
Lady Lisa Knowles.
Yes, sir.
And that is where I got a lot of my spiritual training and grooming and background. And so all of my live singing and all of my learning as to how to use the mic, how to control the mic, and how to be comfortable
right
on the mic came right there.
Right. You know, we always tell people that church is a perfect place to develop your talent. If you check the musicians, many of them who now do secular,
Yes.
they started in church
Mm-hmm.
because, you know, only at church you get to play Monday and then Tuesday, especially now. I mean, we don't have church as much as we did back then.
Yeah.
But back then you had Sunday, you had like 3 services, and then even at our church, even prayer meeting, we wanted music in church. So you know, if you were not too good, you might catch the little Wednesday night prayer meeting,
Yes.
or you know, even the midday prayer meeting. But you get because you know they want organ and everything for everything. You see?
Yes.
So you rush to church, you want to get it before the other keyboard players, and it just helps you to develop.
Yeah, it helps.
You know?
It helps with your grooming. But even as a little girl, I've always been in the leadership role
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to singing, and so it was always as a lead soloist or a lead singer in the choir, or leading praise and worship.
Right.
You know, and I enjoy them all.
Okay.
They carry different, I guess, kind of energies a little slightly, but I enjoy them all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now there are many who sing in church, sing on the praise team, been doing it all their life faithfully. Not all take the leap and go in the studio and record. Tell me where that came from. What inspired you to do your recording and even your songwriting?
So listen, here's the thing. I've always been a leader.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember growing up as a little girl, I lived with my aunt for a while, and they would always make us write our own poems and skits and operate in the creative.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we would write the play.
Amen.
And put the play on for them.
Mm-hmm.
And they would tell you if the play was good or not.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And so my creative energy as a child was allowed.
Okay.
It was welcomed,
All right.
right? And it was rewarded. And so I just got to this place when it was time for a wonderful lover. I was having a real sincere conversation with God.
Mm-hmm.
Because while I grew up in church, I wasn't the safest in the bunch.
No.
No. I wasn't the most
Not
safe.
you look like evangelist, but
I wasn't the most safe in the bunch.
uh-huh.
All right? But I got to that place with God and I said, listen, I don't want to hear what the pastor has to say. I don't want to hear what my mommy, my daddy, my auntie, my uncle, my Grammy. I want to hear directly from you. And I always believed in the law of reciprocity.
Mm-hmm.
You love me, but quite obviously the life that I'm living and leading is not one that makes you proud.
Right.
So I want to hear your version of the story. You speak directly to me, God, to teach me how to love you.
Right.
I want you
Yes.
to teach me how to do that, because if I can hear it directly from you as a direct download, then I would know how to reciprocate
Right.
properly in my day-to-day walk and my day-to-day journey, even if it doesn't look to other people the way they may have deemed it should look.
Mm-hmm.
Once it looks appropriate to you, then
mm-hmm.
that's the way that I'm going to do it.
All right. All right.
And so that is where A Wonderful Lover came from. It was a real conversation that I was having with God, and I wasn't the deepest of Christians. I wasn't the deepest of believers, but I was one willing to pause and pivot from the life that I was living to say, Lord, just teach me. If you can teach me, then I would have learned for real. And so because we always wrote as little children, then that was a memo. That was a letter, a note that I was writing to God. And it just came as a download, all of the lyrics, all of the sound, and just the way that it would flow. And so what happens with me is the sound and the lyrics, they come together. And so while I'm writing, I'm also singing to make sure that there is a flow.
Right.
Right. And so that's how A Wonderful Lover started. And it's so amazing. Even as you're playing that, it just took even me back to that moment as to where it all started, as a reminder to say, all right, now you made a vow silently, and so now it's all of your children, they're adults, so it's time for you to saddle up.
Right. How did the production side of that song go? Which studio did you do it in? Who played the music? Who laid your tracks?
So who did that? Oh gosh, that was so long ago. I'm wondering if Patrick Boston did that.
Could have been Patrick,
It could have been Patrick Boston. Boy, I hope I call him the right name right now. Because I did.
Because if I was the one who produced somebody's song and they called another name I don't even remember, I did it. Hello, somebody.
I'm just trying to think of in the studio, but I do know around that time, Derek, you did put a lot of energy behind it in terms of how it went a little bit more global.
Right.
How it went a little bit more international, how the sound crossed the water. And it still is. It one of the things I did do was study the business side.
Right.
Of my craft. So I didn't just go out and sing. And so that was a part of my education when it came to the music.
Yeah.
Was the business side of it as well.
And you gotta know it. You gotta know it.
You better know it.
You gotta know it. That helps you a whole lot.
You better know it if you want to eat.
And it saves you a lot.
Yeah. So so even with the relationships that I built along the way, they came as a result of just collaborating with you from those earlier days. And that song was long. If we tell the people how long that was, but the power of music, when it transcends time,
yes,
it could still bless the heart of the listener.
Absolutely. That's some of the reason I love Throwback Thursday, because I'm amazed by the songs that was written so long, some even before I was born.
Yes.
And they're still effective today, man.
Yeah. And that's just the power of the intentions that you put into the music, and that is the power of the anointing and the fingerprint that God would put on it,
right,
to allow it to become self-sustaining. So I'm thankful that from then to now
the phone has been ringing a lot. And so I have to believe that it was ringing because that's someone trying to call into the show.
Oh, really?
So before let's try and see if that was a caller.
Really?
I hope it ain't somebody that's calling me to tell me I owe them $50 or 50 cents, but it might be a call. Hello, caller. Hello. Okay, see? All right. If you are trying to call, let's try it again. All right. So we'll try it again if they call back. All right. I don't know why it would. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Okay, I really have to get this line checked out because this is the same thing I had when the cooling waters was there the other day. But we're gonna rectify it. So that person who's calling, just call one more time, and I know we can get it right. We can get it right because obviously that got to be somebody who listening.
Really?
Yeah.
Look how y'all just put me on the spot.
If I owe anybody any money, it ain't more than $5. So they can't call me that much because I owe them. So let's try it now. Hello, caller. All is well, my brother.
Oh, thank you so much.
Huh?
Listen.
That's the heel.
Yes, that's the heel.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man.
Oh,
yeah, man.
gosh.
All right, brother.
Yes, thank you.
But do you know I also got a text from the time we started, when you saw me on the phone.
Really?
Of course, it was no disrespect, but that was, let me tell you who that was. That was, where'd the number, where'd it go? Okay, that was Mr. Daniel Williams. Do you know Mr. Danny Williams?
Yes, I do. Which one?
And Daniel say, that's my beautiful niece.
Oh, okay, that's my uncle.
Listen, uncle call, cousin call. Listen, y'all don't use ZNS for no family reunion today.
Oh, yes. Come through.
yeah. So they listening. They listening.
They are. How sweet of them.
And
Oh,
the
my
good thing
goodness.
is that's Daniel. So when you're ready to do your promotion for your concert, D&P could be one of your sponsors.
Listen, they've been good to me. They've been good to me even at my school. So yes.
Yeah, D&P, landscaping and maintenance. Dependable and professional.
Yes.
Yeah, man. So you would have said it was Patrick Boston. And so that would have been your first recording.
That would have been the first recording.
Yeah. Tell me some of the places that your musical journey took you.
Okay, so we've done some family of islands work. I still love my beautiful Bahamas. We've done Florida, and we've done Atlanta. And then there is a whole lot of airplay because I would see the stats come in. In the UK.
Okay.
We've also done some other interviews and airplay in different parts of the Caribbean. Yeah.
So the check looking good.
Well, you know what? It can't take me into retirement yet, but maybe if I, just keep going, I could get into retirement a little early.
Amen. And so you came out with a single, or you did a full album the first time?
So the very first time there was a single, right? And from the single, a lot of people said, "Wait, hold on. So where's the rest?
Right.
You didn't do an album? Like what? You can't just do a one and done." And so the second time around, I did an album.
Okay.
Every song that I sing, I wrote. Every lyric, every sound belongs to me, right? And so I went ahead and I decided to do an album the second time around. And because I knew that I wanted more to come, I called that album Preamble. Because if you look in a book, the first thing you're going to see is a preface.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to call it preface. I'm like, God, we need a word that sounds a little bit more of a jingle, a word that sounds a little bit more musical. What else does preface mean? Because I just wanted everybody to know that that's just the beginning of the book. We haven't even reached to chapter 1 yet.
Yeah.
Right. So I looked and I said, okay, synonymous to this is preamble. That sounds a little bit more like a jingle. And so I called that album Preamble. And so that also gets its fair share of airplay around the globe. All right. I remember doing the cover shoot for that album, and that cover shoot was done by Keen Eye Media. That was Eric at Keen Eye Media who did that shoot, and we did it at the Garden of the Groves. He must have took about 1,000 pictures, and I didn't like one. I just could not get my poses right that day. And the very last picture, it was like, this is it. I just stood and took it, and it was the very last picture. I was like, that's the one. So that was a pretty cool day for that. But I remember that photo shoot. Now that had multiple producers on it. Because I remember going to, I think I went back to Patrick for one. There was also Mark Carey. who assisted, and there was also Ashanti.
Okay.
Carey.
Yeah.
Who assisted with the production of some of the songs in there. Yeah.
All right. All right. And your videos, how many music videos you have?
You know, I only did one video. I did one video that was for A Wonderful Lover. I should have done a video for Preamble.
Wonderful Lover. You doing any of your scenes in that video is driving in a car or something?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. I was driving in my car, and some of that in A Wonderful Lover, we shot some of that at the NIB building.
Okay.
Right downtown,
right.
And then we also went to in the Running Mon Marina area by Zan. Is it no? The Running Mon Marina area, the beach way out in the corner.
Yeah.
And we did some on the rock.
In the back of Carvel Beach down in there.
Yes, on the rock. We did some of that there, and I also did some of it in my church. That video was shot by Kendall Knowles, K&K Video Production. Yeah.
All right. Right. One thing you was making it happen.
You know what? That's just I'm realizing that even in the capacity that I work now, that's just the way that I work. I always figure out how to make it happen. If I see it, then if I see it in my vision, then I just put the right people in place to make sure the vision comes to pass. And so however it's downloaded, then that means it's doable, and it's just incumbent upon me to find the person that is aligned with the vision to make sure the work comes to pass.
Right. And you talked about your workplace. What is that? Beauty salon? What?
So right now, in terms of my workplace, I am the founder of Bahamas Leadership Academy. We are a K through 12 educational institution, and our signature framework for our business model is that we prepare children for college, career, and cash flow before graduation. And so entrepreneurship is one of the subjects that's taught from the 7th grade. And so even starting today, the high schoolers started their business pitches. Right. And so even on Facebook, if you go to Bahamas Leadership Academy, by tomorrow you should see some visual coming in for Cash Flow Friday to show you some of the children and the work that they're doing in the school.
Okay, let's see if this is one for you or this one for their $5. Hello, caller. Hey, what's up now? Marlene who? Oh, you said Heel. I thought you said like her nickname Steel or something. Okay, good. Yes. Yes. Right. So they used to have their one talent show.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Uncle Daniel. Thank you so much, brother. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Uncle Daniel.
You're making them proud today.
Yeah.
Huh?
Hey, I had a great childhood. I had a super amazing childhood, and I always tell everybody, hey, you can't get me to be down because I grew up in love. I had it all around. I grew up in positive environments. I grew up in healthy, wholesome environments, and so kudos to those that raised me. The first part of my growing up, I was with my Aunt Vicky and my Uncle Daniel, and that's where I grew up, in that house before going back to my parents. And now my uncle with D&P, my uncle and Patrice, they would have supported me in the education realm. And so I'm thankful. I'm so thankful for every part of my journey and everyone that touched my life along the way.
So, in speaking with those big words, because you talk a lot about education, but you use some big words. So you caught that from Danny.
You know something? When it was time to go to college, my dad's name is Emalcus Hills. All right. Listen, and he is a master golf instructor.
Yes, sir.
Okay, he raises golf champions and golf pros, literally. And he always said, listen, you're going to school to be an educator. And so when you
what year he told you that?
This is when I was getting ready to go to college.
Okay.
All right. So he said, you're going to school to be an educator, because that was the profession that I chose. I chose education. He says, if you're going to school to become an educator, when you open your mouth, you sound educated. Because the worst thing you can do as an educator is forget to cross your T's and dot your I's. And then you go in up there and you sound a hot mess.
Right.
So that was something that was drilled in me, to always make sure when you have to go to speak, you sound like a woman that has learned. Yeah.
And those of you out there, you should see how she said, but she said a woman that learned. So what I want to do, Marlene, is right about here, we're going to put in another one of your songs, and then we're going to come back and we're going to wind it down, wind it up. All right?
Okay.
And we're going to put this one in. This one is called I Feel Like Jumping. All right, so we're gonna play this one, and then we'll get back to this wonderful conversation. Keep that radio lock right where it's at. Listen, man, I want you just to tap your feet and enjoy the sounds of Marlene Hill. No, Marlene. Yeah, Hill knows. All right.